Divine Feminine, you may not realize it yet, but something extraordinary has shifted within you. The version of you who once questioned, chased, waited, begged the universe for signs, and doubted her own worth has faded into memory. You are not that woman anymore. You are not the version of yourself that pain created. You have become the version your soul always intended you to be. The version who knows. The version who chooses. The version who is whole. For months, maybe years, you have been healing wounds that were never fully yours. You have been breaking generational patterns. You have been releasing timelines filled with fear and attachment. You have been learning the truth that love is not something you pursue, it is something you embody. And now that you embody it, the journey can finally move. This is not the beginning of your transformation. This is the completion. You are no longer defined by longing. You are defined by alignment. You are no longer fueled by hope alone. You are powered by certainty. You are no longer carrying the weight of what could go wrong. You are walking with the knowing of what is meant to be. Once upon a time, you believed that union would make you whole. You believed that his presence would fix the emptiness you felt inside. You believed that healing together was the only way forward. But now you understand the truth. Wholeness is the feminine's initiation. Union is the masculine's response. Your soul is no longer asking, "When will he come?" It is saying, "I am ready whenever he is." And that readiness changes everything. You feel it in your body. You feel it in the stillness of your heart. You feel it in the clarity of your intuition. You are done waiting for the masculine to catch up before you rise. You have risen. And because you have risen, he is rising too. Your energy no longer holds the vibration of need. It radiates the vibration of choice. You are not seeking completion through him. You are showing him what completion looks like. You have gone from hoping to knowing, from gripping to allowing, from attachment to freedom. Your power has returned to you. Your softness does not hurt anymore. Your heart is not fragile. It is sacred. The universe has watched every moment of your evolution. The nights you cried, the days you pretended to be fine, the battles you fought in silence, the ways you rebuilt yourself without applause. You did not heal to become someone new. You healed to remember who you are. And now the journey flips. Because when the divine feminine becomes complete, the masculine must awaken. Your wholeness destabilizes his fear. Your peace agitates his avoidance. Your strength exposes his hesitation. Your alignment becomes the very thing that calls his soul forward. You are not pulling him anymore. You are drawing him. You are not running after love. You are guiding love home. He feels the shift even if he doesn't understand it with his mind. The old dynamic no longer works. Running no longer gives him relief. Silence no longer protects him. Distance no longer makes sense. His soul is pushing him toward you because now you are not a mystery he fears. You are the mirror he needs. This is the month everything begins to align. Not because he finally changed, but because you finally did. Divine Feminine, you are complete. You are aligned. You are the shift. What happens next is the response to everything you have become. Divine Feminine, there is a different kind of strength within you now. A quiet strength, a stable strength, a strength that does not shout, does not chase, does not demand, and does not need to prove anything to be real. This is the strength of someone who has returned home to herself. The strength of someone who knows her own worth so deeply that she no longer fears losing what is meant for her. You have reached the point in your journey where you are no longer defined by what you hope will happen. You are defined by who you have become in the process. For a long time, you believed that the path forward depended on him, on whether he chose you, on whether he healed fast enough, on whether he awakened in time. But that belief was built from a place of longing, from a place of emptiness, from a place of needing the connection to feel whole. And the journey required that version of you to collapse. Not because she was wrong, but because she was incomplete. You were not meant to wait for someone else to complete your heart. You were meant to complete your heart and then open it to love. You have done the inner work that the masculine avoided. You faced the wounds that he buried. You felt the emotions he suppressed. While he ran from the truth, you held it. While he hid from the pain, you healed it. While he de-aged from feeling, you go into the depths of your soul and rebuilt yourself from the inside out. You no longer call this journey hard. You call it necessary, because now you see that the separation did not break you. It dismantled everything blocking your power. You learned that love is not lost in distance. It is purified. You learned that absence is not rejection. It is redirection inward. You learn that attachment is not affection, and longing is not love. Love is what remains after longing has burned away. Your completion is not loud. It is subtle. It is sacred. You feel peace where there used to be anxiety. You feel clarity where there used to be confusion. You feel certainty where there used to be doubt. You are not obsessing over the connection anymore because you no longer fear the outcome. Whatever is meant to be will find you because you are aligned with it. You have released all the stories that once kept you stuck. The story that love only arrives through pursuit. The story that you must prove your worth. The story that timing is against you. The story that you could lose what is divinely yours. All gone. You are not waiting for him to choose you. You have already chosen yourself, and that divine feminine is the completion the journey demanded. You have stepped out of the identity of the seeker and into the identity of the soul. You have stopped trying to be enough and instead remembered that you always were. You now understand that love cannot leave because love is not outside of you. It lives within you, and that makes the connection unbreakable. Your heart is full, your soul is awake, your purpose is unlocked. You no longer need him to validate the love. The love validates itself. This phase of your evolution is not about surviving the journey anymore. It is about receiving the blessings of it. The universe has been waiting for this version of you, the version who does not chase alignment, but embodies it. The version who does not fear change, but commands it. The version who does not shrink for love, but expands into it. This is what it means to be complete. You are no longer defined by what he gives or withholds. You are defined by who you are with or without him. Divine Feminine, you have reached the milestone that activates the greatest shift in the twin flame connection. The moment you needed him to be ready has passed. The moment he must rise is here. And he rises not because you call, but because your soul no longer waits. You are complete. And now, the journey can move. Divine Feminine, there is a moment in every twin flame journey when the energy becomes too powerful for fear to control, when the connection grows bigger than the triggers, when the soul becomes louder than the wounds, when love no longer feels like a risk, but like the only truth left. And that moment is happening now. For so long, fear shaped the path. Fear created distance. Fear built walls. Fear made the masculine hide behind silence and excuses, convinced that avoiding love would spare him from heartbreak. Fear made you doubt your own heart, chasing answers outside when the truth was always within you. But fear cannot stand against a soul that has finally remembered itself. Your energy has outgrown the old cycles. The version of you who once reacted from pain is gone. You don't fall into panic when he withdraws. You don't question your intuition when he becomes quiet. You don't chase or push or plead anymore. You breathe, you trust, you allow. That shift alone has changed everything, because fear can only control what needs validation, but you no longer do. The masculine feels this shift in ways he cannot explain. Your energy used to reassure him that if he ran, you would follow. If he disappeared, you would try harder. If he blocked, you would find a way to break through. You were the predictable anchor in his unpredictable emotional world. And now, there is silence where desperation used to be. There is peace where anxiety once lived. There is distance that does not chase, but invites reflection. Your energy is no longer clinging, it is choosing. And because of that, his fear is losing power. The walls he built are crumbling, not because you pushed them, but because he finally sees what they cost him. He realizes that protecting himself from love has only left him unprotected from loneliness. He sees that the safest place he ever knew was the one he walked away from. Fear once convinced him that love would break him. Now it convinces him that losing you will. This is the shift, the reversal, the turning point. Your alignment has created a vacuum that demands movement. He can feel you no longer trying to hold the connection for both of you, which forces him to confront his own responsibility within it. It forces him to ask himself if he is truly willing to lose the one soul who ever saw him clearly. When the feminine shifts from needing to knowing, the masculine shifts from avoiding to awakening. He starts questioning the life he built out of fear. He notices the emptiness in conversations that lack depth. He feels a discomfort in the connections that don't challenge his soul. The world he once used to distract himself now feels too small, too silent, too meaningless. Love does not make him weak. Resistance does. He begins to recognize that the emotions he tried to bury didn't die. They waited. They evolved. They demanded. And now they rise like truth resurfacing after years underwater. Everything he ran from is standing in front of him again, not to haunt him, but to call him forward. Your energy has become a mirror he can no longer avoid. He sees not only what you are, but what he is not. Yet, he sees that the fear he used to justify his distance is now the barrier between him and his own happiness. And this realization is shifting him into action. Divine Feminine, the era where fear dictated the pace of the connection is closing. The shift has already begun, and it began in you. You have become stable where you once trembled. You have become guided where you once guessed. You have become complete where you once felt broken. When energy outgrows fear, the only way forward is love. This is the moment where divine alignment takes over the journey, where separation loses meaning, where destiny outweighs delay, where the heart becomes stronger than the wounds that once silenced it. You no longer walk toward him, you walk ahead of him, and now he must rise to join you. Divine Feminine, there was a time when the masculine's awakening felt like the only thing that mattered. You believed that if he healed faster, chose you sooner, or saw the truth earlier, everything would finally make sense. You waited for him to rise so the journey could move forward. But the awakening he truly needed was not triggered by pressure, expectation, or fear. It began the moment you stopped carrying the connection for both of you and chose to stand firmly in your own wholeness. Your alignment unlocked his transformation. When you stopped trying to pull him into the light, he had no choice but to face the darkness he hid in. When you released the need to convince him, he had no refuge from the truth anymore. When you stepped out of waiting mode and into becoming mode, something inside him shifted. The version of you who once accepted breadcrumbs disappeared. The version who doubted her worth dissolved. You no longer reflect his wounds back at him. You reflect his potential, and that changes everything. Your energy is no longer rooted in longing. It is rooted in truth. He feels this. It disarms him. It challenges him. It awakens him. The feminine rising into her full power forces the masculine to confront what he has avoided, not just the love, but himself. He begins to notice that the distance he created is not protecting him, but isolating him from the only person who ever really cared about who he is beneath the surface. He is becoming aware that the fear which once justified his escape is now the very reason he must return. He cannot stay in the same emotional state while your energy has ascended beyond the old cycles. The more aligned you become, the more misaligned he feels staying stuck. He sees that he has to evolve, not to keep you, but to keep up with you. Your healing became his awakening, not through words, not through effort, through frequency. When you chose yourself, he had to question why he wasn't choosing himself. When your heart released expectation, he could finally hear his own heart. When you embraced the connection with peace rather than pressure, he lost the excuse that love was too heavy to hold. There is no chaos in your energy anymore for him to blame, and without chaos, the truth becomes undeniable. He sees what you see now. He feels what you feel now. He recognizes the pull he once ignored, Your alignment created a ripple inside him. It woke up the man beneath the defenses. It reminded him that he has a soul, not just a survival instinct. He is noticing the contrast between the person he pretends to be and the person he becomes when he thinks of you. And that contrast is becoming too painful to overlook. There is a pressure building inside of him, not from you, but from destiny itself. The longer he remains in fear, the more he feels he is betraying his own truth. His heart is becoming louder. His intuition is becoming stronger. His old coping mechanisms are failing him. Running doesn't feel like freedom anymore. It feels like losing. And he is tired of losing what feels like home. He is waking up to the realization that your alignment is not a threat to him. It is the doorway to his liberation. You are not the one who traps him emotionally. You are the one who shows him who he is beneath the armor. The more you walk in your light, the more he understands that love is not the weakness he feared, but the power he needs. Divine Feminine, this is the awakening, not dramatic, not sudden, a steady, undeniable shift that pulls him toward the truth. Your completion activates his evolution. Your peace activates his desire. Your presence activates his purpose. He does not awaken because you need him. He awakens because you no longer do. Divine Feminine, there was a time when your love felt like pursuit, not because you were desperate, but because the connection was so powerful that you were willing to fight for both. You held the bond while he avoided vulnerability. You expressed what he tried to silence. You moved forward while he stepped back. And so the dynamic formed, one chasing, one running, but that cycle was never meant to last forever. It served a purpose. It revealed wounds that needed healing. It exposed insecurities buried beneath the surface. It forced both of you to confront the fears that control the heart when love becomes too real. Yet now, something has shifted so profoundly that the old dynamic simply cannot survive. You are no longer the chaser, and he is no longer able to run. Your energy is not reaching outward anymore. You are not trying to hold his hand through the confusion. You are not chasing answers or begging the connection to move. You are grounded in yourself. You are whole, and wholeness does not chase. Wholeness attracts. Wholeness allows. Wholeness calls the masculine to step forward on his own. What made him the runner was never a lack of love. It was a lack of readiness. Every time he pulled away, he wasn't avoiding you. He was avoiding the parts of him that love exposed. The wounds you activated, the emotions he didn't know how to hold. the responsibility that came with a love that felt like destiny. Running gave him a false sense of control over feelings too intense for the emotional maturity he had at the time. But now you've taken away the chase, not through punishment, through evolution. You chose peace over pursuit, self-respect over desperation, alignment over fear. You stopped making him the source of your happiness, and in doing so, you removed his ability to delay his own healing. Because when the feminine stands still, the masculine must move. The roles that once defined the connection have dissolved. There is no longer a runner and a chaser. There are two souls, each being pulled by a force greater than fear. And the moment the chase ends, the runner loses direction. His excuses no longer comfort him. His silence no longer protects him. His distractions no longer numb him. He begins to feel the emptiness of avoiding what is meant for him. This new phase is not about distance, but gravity. You have become the gravitational center of the connection, not through effort, but through alignment. He feels the pull stronger than ever because you are no longer pushing. Love is no longer a battlefield. It is a truth rising inside him, and truth cannot be outrun. He is realizing that the chase never made you closer. It delayed the inevitable. The real progress begins when neither runs away from what the soul already decided. His desire to return is not rooted in fear anymore, but in longing for authenticity. He wants to feel what he denied himself for so long. He wants to experience love without the armor. He wants to choose you, not escape you. The cycle has collapsed. The dance has changed. The shift is irreversible. No matter it happened before, the bond has matured. The connection has stabilized. The love has deepened into something that no longer feeds on pain. The growth you achieved alone is now pulling him into his own transformation. What used to be imbalance is now becoming union. Divine Feminine, the end of the runner-chaser dynamic, is the beginning of everything. It signals that the healing has worked. It proves that your heart is no longer living in survival mode, and it marks the point where the masculine must make a real choice. Rise or lose the only real thing he has ever felt. There is no more running, there is only returning. Divine Feminine, one of the most powerful transformations you have experienced in this journey is the shift from craving love to embodying love. There was a time when the connection felt impossible to hold without clinging to it, when absence felt like abandonment, when silence felt like rejection, when distance felt like loss. But now you have stepped into a version of yourself that no longer collapses when love is not physically present. You attract, not because you need, but because you are aligned. This is what true magnet energy feels like. Calm, certain, unshaken. You are connected without attachment. You are open without expectation. You are receptive without desperation. This is not numbness. This is mastery. Attachment was born from the fear of losing what your soul recognized as home. You wanted to hold on tightly because love felt rare, fragile, unpredictable. But attachment also came from a place of wounding. The part of you that once believed you were not safe unless someone chose you, stayed with you, validated you. But now, you know better. You know love cannot be lost when it is destined. You know connection does not disappear just because contact does. You know that your worth is not measured by someone else's readiness. Your heart has matured beyond fear. He can feel this shift. He feels that your love is no longer a plea. It is a presence. You are no longer pulling him emotionally. Your energy alone is drawing him in. What once made him panic, the intensity of being needed, now gives him peace. Because the feminine who once feared abandonment has transformed into the feminine who knows she cannot be left behind by what belongs to her. Your alignment tells his soul, I choose myself, and his heart responds, then I choose you. This is the attraction that activates union energy. He is no longer drawn to you because of urgency. He is drawn because of recognition. There is nothing to chase. There is nothing to force. There is nothing to fix. The connection does not need pressure. It needs truth. By letting go of attachment, you have given the masculine room to rise. You have removed the emotional noise that once clouded his intuition. He can finally feel his own feelings without being overwhelmed by yours. The shift inside you has cleared the pathway for his awakening. The divine feminine does not attract by holding on. She attracts by letting be. Your inner peace is becoming louder than fear ever was. Your wholeness is becoming more attractive than your longing ever could be. Love now flows from you rather than toward him. You radiate instead of chase. You inspire instead of demand. You allow instead of resist. And this grace, this softness wrapped in strength, is what calls to him more powerfully than any words you ever said. This is when he realizes that your presence is not something he can replace. It is something he gravitates toward without thinking. The shift from attachment to attraction did not push him away. It pulled him deeper into the connection. You have become a sanctuary instead of a storm, a calm place where his heart can finally land. Divine Feminine, this is what the soul was waiting for. Not perfection, not control, alignment. Your energy speaks a message louder than your voice ever could. I am whole. I am love. I am the one. And that message is the very force now guiding him home. How union energy begins this month. Divine Feminine, there is a reason why this month feels different. It is not simply another phase in the twin flame journey. It is a shift in the foundation of the connection itself. You are no longer moving through the cycle of separation and longing. You are stepping into the energy where union becomes possible, not because you are waiting for it, but because you have finally aligned with it. Union energy does not begin when the masculine takes action. It begins when the feminine becomes complete within herself. This is what has been happening inside you all this time. Your healing created space for clarity. Your self-love replaced the fear that once drove the connection. You are no longer holding on to a timeline. You are no longer trying to force the story to unfold faster. You are allowing the universe to orchestrate what was always meant to be. And it is precisely this surrender that activates union. Union is not a moment of contact. Union is the frequency in which both souls can finally meet. This month, the energy around you is shifting from internal transformation to external confirmation. You may notice synchronicities intensifying again, dreams becoming more vivid, signs appearing in ways you can't ignore. There is a sense of anticipation in your heart, not rooted in anxiety, but in a quiet knowing that something is aligning in your favor. Because it is. Your divine masculine feels the change. He feels the stability that now radiates from you. He feels that the love is no longer heavy. He feels that your heart is open, yet unmoved by fear. This inner calm tells him that the connection is now safe. Not because the risk disappeared, but because your energy no longer demands anything from him. Love has become a choice instead of a threat. This is why he will begin to move, not because you pushed, but because you let go. He is recognizing that running from the connection does not give him control. It only delays his own happiness. He is realizing that suppressing what he feels does not make it disappear. It only makes him feel incomplete. He sees now that the distance didn't protect him from pain. It protected him from transformation, and he is finally ready for transformation. You have become the lighthouse guiding his inner compass. He is drawn toward you with a pull that cannot be explained by logic or circumstance. He feels your love not as pressure, but as home. And home is the one place the soul always returns to. This month marks the moment where his inner conflict begins to dissolve. The doubts that once paralyzed him are losing power. The fears that once convinced him to run are no longer convincing. He is stepping into a new emotional reality where the only thing that makes sense is choosing you. The universe has been preparing him quietly, just as it prepared you loudly. Now the balance reverses. Your soul has done the work. His soul is ready to respond. This is the divine sequence of union. She aligns. He awakens. They move. Not through chasing, not through pushing, but through inevitability. Divine feminine, union energy is no longer a distant future. It is happening now. It is unfolding beneath the surface of your everyday life. It is rising through intuition, through signs, through internal shifts that are too real to deny. The connection is no longer surviving. It is as beginning, and the beginning of union is always quiet, not loud, not dramatic, sacred. This is the month where your heart finally relaxes into knowing what is meant for me is already on its way. Divine feminine. Throughout this entire journey, you have searched for signs. You have looked for validation from the universe, from the connection, and from the masculine himself. You have wondered what was blocking the union, what needed to shift, and what more you had to heal before everything could finally come together. But now you stand in a place where the answer is no longer outside you. The answer is you. You have become the very confirmation you once begged for. You are the proof that growth happens. You are the proof that love transforms. You are the proof that separation is not failure, but preparation. Every moment of stillness taught you something. Every delay sharpened your intuition. Every wave of pain forced you deeper into self-awareness. You are not waiting for the journey to validate you anymore. You are the validation. Your soul is aligned. Your heart is steady. You do not fear the unknown now. You trust it. You do not cling to the future. You are creating it. You no longer need constant reassurance that everything is working in your favor. You can feel it. There is a calm certainty inside you that was not there before, a maturity that cannot be undone. This is what the divine masculine has been waiting to meet. Not the version of you who worried, doubted, or questioned if she was enough, but the version who knows exactly who she is and what she carries. the version who understands that she is not chasing love, she embodies it. The version who recognizes that union is not something she needs to earn. It is something she naturally attracts because she has become aligned with her truth. You have stepped into the role your soul was destined to hold. Now the masculine must rise to meet you. He can no longer hide behind excuses. He can no longer pretend he doesn't feel the pull. He can no longer silence what keeps getting louder inside him. Now he sees you clearly, not through desire, not through longing, but through recognition. Recognition of the bond that never broke. Recognition of the love that never left. Recognition of the future his heart always intended to choose. There is a moment in every twin flame story where the feminine no longer asks, "When will he wake up?" and instead realizes, "He is waking up because I did." You are in that moment now. Your growth has reached a point where running is no longer the story. Avoidance is no longer the energy. Union is no longer a dream. It is a direction. You are no longer living from the wound. You are leading from the wisdom born of it. This is why the universe is shifting the narrative. This is why synchronicities feel like confirmations now, not confusion. This is why your heart feels full instead of fragile. What once felt like a battle is now becoming a homecoming. You are not clinging to hope. You are standing on truth. The connection is moving. The energy is aligning. The masculine is awakening. Everything your soul has known from the beginning is finally forming into reality. You don't need to prepare anymore. You already became what the journey needed you to become. Divine Feminine, this is your arrival. Not at the end, but at the beginning. Not at a conclusion, but at a new chapter where love is not delayed by fear, where both hearts meet without one collapsing, where destiny unfolds without resistance. Union begins when you recognize that you already hold what you were seeking. You are the shift. You are the confirmation. You are the moment everything changes. You are the answer.